When you realize that you have a gift or you discover a new one, do you ever consider about how you might develop that gift and what the value of that might be and put a plan together for it? If not, we're going to discuss that today. We're going to discuss developing your gifts, setting a goal, and more on episode 724 of today's Antidote.
Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, Tom. Happy Monday. How are you?
I am well. How are you doing today, Bob?
I'm okay. Got a little late start. It's cold out.
Yeah, I had a long weekend, a late flight back, and some issues getting set up for this morning. So,
all right. Well,
my apologies.
Here we are. Now let's rock and roll.
All right.
Well, let's do it.
Good morning and welcome everyone to today's Antidote, our daily broadcast and podcast. Each week we have a conversation around a topic, and then each day we pick a subtopic around that to discuss. As I mentioned this morning in the intro, we're going to talk about developing your gifts. We spent all week last week talking about finding your gifts. And so it kind of makes sense that once you find them, that you develop them. And today we're going to talk about setting a goal. I think one of the really great things about that. We'll get to that conversation in just a minute. And when we do, we would encourage you to share your thoughts and ideas on whatever social media you happen to be following us on, whether that is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, or
LinkedIn Live, baby.
LinkedIn Live, baby. Yes. Because we welcome those thoughts and ideas because we know it'll add value to the show. And at the end of the conversation, Bob and I will each offer our one thing, our today's antidote. That thing that we hope will help you. If you're stuck trying to figure out how to set a goal so that you can develop your gifts, maybe this will be the thing that'll help move you forward so you can create your own unique pathway to the success that you desire. And of course, we would welcome you to share your antidote as well, as we know that it may be exactly the thing someone else is looking for. Before we do that, though, each morning, Bob and I do our celebrations. Bob, what are you celebrating today?
I'm going to celebrate the fact that I'm not the only person with a fair amount of socks out there. There was a poll in our Facebook group over the weekend. Yesterday was National Sock Day, and I put a poll in the Ring of Renegades Facebook group asking people how many socks they had, and got some answers that would suggest that my 57 pairs is not completely out of control. So that was very heartening for me.
Did you actually count them?
Yes.
Had a pretty free weekend, huh? I'm not sure I could find all my socks.
Actually,
then be able to count them.
Someone was somewhat critical of it. And so I counted, and I've actually culled that down from about 75.
And did everyone have a matching pair?
They did, yes. I only counted pairs.
How many single socks did you have?
4.
4?
Yeah, and they're all the no ankle show size that you wear to play golf or run, something like that.
I don't even think I could count the number of socks I have. One, who knows where they are at different times. And
well, you have people that do that work for you. You know, they put your clothes out like the president, right? Each morning and help you get dressed.
No.
No? Oh, okay.
No. I just know I have a lot of socks that are unmatched, and there is one missing. And what I discovered is that my kids don't care. I think from probably about age 12, our oldest daughter wore mismatched socks. Didn't just grab 2, put them on, didn't matter.
It is a thing. You can buy mismatched pairs.
Why? You just grab whatever 2 you have and put them on your feet.
I think it's great that they can charge money for it.
Yeah, that's like selling ice to an Eskimo to me. So,
or pet rocks.
or pet rocks. Correct.
Or remember the leash for your dog that didn't have a dog?
Yeah, so you could walk the fake dog.
Good times. The 70s.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Anyhow, so my celebration this morning is a great weekend out on the lacrosse field. I took the time to go down to Tampa. Weather was beautiful. And spent a little time helping others develop their gifts while developing mine at the same time. Okay. And then the chance to get on the field and run around. So it was altogether really enjoyable weekend. And again, just reminds me of how much I enjoy the community of lacrosse officials.
Nice. I like it.
It worked out well. So now let's dive into our topic, developing your gifts, setting a goal. You want to kick that off, Bob?
Sure. One of the things I think, and I'm going to use an example from business because I think it applies most. Over the last, 5, 6, 7 years, I've wanted to become a professional speaker, and I've moved into that role, and I had to develop my gifts. And I had to set a goal. My first goal was to get a speaking engagement. So I did some local stuff. Then it was to do something more regional, and I got that. And then I got to do something national. And now I continue to look for national stages. And in the process, I still do local stuff. I still do free speaking. I do a lot of different events because I'm constantly trying to develop that gift. And that goal is to set, I'm setting a goal with each time I present. I want to work on this. I want to work on pausing. I want to work on listening to people's questions fully before answering. I want to work on using the stage better. I want to work on interaction. There's a goal for every presentation, but there's also an overarching goal for the year. As we're getting ready for the new year, I've got some goals around speaking, both revenue goals, number of speaking engagements, and size of audience. And that encourages me and also guides me as I'm developing this gift. And it gives me the marker, did I achieve that goal at the end of the year? Or at the end of 3 months, or at the end of the week, or at the end of the presentation? It could vary. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, as I was thinking about this, I think that's the first step. If you're really trying to figure out how to develop and understand where you want to go, I think there's a lot of ways to develop your gifts without setting a goal. And yet then I don't really think what to do next. It's almost like there's no pathway. There's just this is something I can do. And I think it falls true for any gift that you have, whether that's the gift in the role you play in your job or a gift for something that you have personally that you want to figure out how to develop. From
or
this
as a leader with your team, right?
Or sure, of course. And that's what I think is with anything. If you want to be a good leader, like, what is your goal? And then if you feel like I want to work differently as a leader, well, okay, what does that mean? And what does that look like so that I can figure out what the first step might be? I was helping run a clinic for lacrosse officials this weekend. And really the goal of it is for them to have the opportunity to maybe get a new higher level rating, which would allow them more opportunities. And I would say that probably for half of that group, they weren't really sure why they were there. They knew they wanted this rating. And after that, I'm not sure there was a plan. For some of them, it was like, I want to get to the college level, and this is a step in the process. And I think that makes the pathway clearer, right? If you were yeah, and we had some younger officials who were there. And I'm not sure, I think they had people saying that it would be really good for them to attend a clinic. And I don't know that they knew why. Yeah, I maybe want to pick up some skills or whatever. And like I was having some conversations with them, and I said, well, one of the things that would be really valuable to do is think about what level do you want to be at? Are you happy just doing high school and you just want to be better at high school? Are you thinking that you want to go to the college level? Are you thinking you want to go to the international level? And I would say for some of them, they hadn't considered that. And, and those were one of the things I said is that if you truly want to develop this gift and think that that would be of value, figuring out what that looks like. Now, it doesn't have to be the end game. It might just be what is the thing that right now you can see that is a possibility within that. And I think sometimes that's the challenge. It's the challenge. We'll get into that later this week. And I think that it's one of those things that if you're not thinking about that, you really, it's hard to figure out what your next steps mean. And you might just take some mishmash steps to try to get there. And I think it's the same with a business. If you have a goal, if you don't have a goal for the end of the year, you're like, well, what am I trying to really do?
Right.
What am I? And so I go to this thing or I go to that thing in hopes that one of these will help me figure out probably the next step or maybe the ultimate step that I'm trying to achieve. And yet if we're not clear on that, you could just attend things with no purpose in some ways outside of, I think this would be a good professional development thing to attend. Like I remember when I was in the fundraising world, the athletic fundraising world, I had a goal that I thought one day my goal was to be an athletic director. And the value of this was, okay, so what professional development things did I have to do to figure that out? And because I had never traveled that path, it was really helpful to go talk to others who had. And they should say, well, these are some of the things that you could do along the way that will help you create your pathway to that. This is what I did. This is how I found value in that, how it helped me develop my skills as a leader, as someone who then had to be organized, who had to understand the landscape of the world that I was working in and try to get to the point that I wanted to get to. And I so often think that we don't think about that and we don't set what that goal looks like. We might set goals for our organization or for us within our organization. And I'm not sure how we see how that relates to us individually. And I think that's an important piece for us to think about, like, okay, well, why am I setting this goal? And how, with whatever that goal is, do I figure out how to take the steps to get there? And I think that usually leads people to places of getting stuck without a goal or without really understanding it. And I know we'll talk about more of that next. So I think that as that the opportunity to say, this is where I want to be, great, is the first step to now what do I need to do to develop this gift so that I can get there?
And being able to declare it out loud proudly.
Sure. Because then others can help you.
I think I want to write a book and just not telling anyone and working on it. And also not in setting that goal, not allowing others to set that goal for you without your involvement. I see that often with people like, well, my friend said I should do this.
Right.
I was talking to someone who was younger and they were trying to figure out what they wanted to study in college. They were going back to school. And they're like, well, everyone says I'm really good at this. And it's like, okay, what are you really good at? What do you want to do? Well, but I hear this over and over and over. Okay, not good enough.
And that was what I saw this week.
The reason you want to really set that goal is because you're going to face some challenges. You have to have a reason to be there.
And it needs to be yours.
Correct. It cannot, yes. Eventually, it's got to become yours.
Yeah, because there were two people there in particular. And it was interesting because the person who was kind of trying to push them that way was there as well. So we talked a little bit about that. And they were like, yeah, I've been trying to get them to go to a clinic for a year and a half. And clearly the people who were in the clinic were really sure why. They were just like, okay, this person told me I should do this. And so finally I broke down and said, because it was maybe convenient or whatever, and decided to do it. And so now the opportunity is for them to say, based on some of this information, where is it that I want to go? And right. Then I have the opportunity to figure out, okay, now how do I develop it and get to there? And when you tell someone with that, they're more than happy to share that information. I've had people that I was leading that said, well, I want to be a vice president. I want to be the head of fundraising. I want to be a major gift officer. I want to own my own business. Okay. Now I can help you figure that out and help you take those steps. And without understanding that, I'd just be like, okay, you must be happy in your job and where you're at, and this is where you want to be. And if you're not going to share with me where you want to go, it's hard for me to help.
All right. I like it, Tom. What's your one thing this morning?
So I think my one thing about setting a goal to help develop your gifts is it's the starting point. And I think that the idea that it has to be your goal, and because now you are going to be more active in it, and you're going to and you're going to want to share it with others so that they can help you figure out how to do that. So either you know where you want to go, or someone is helping you understand that it's important for you to do that. And I think so often that's the challenge sometimes, is the developing of our gifts we think is setting a goal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really a part of it. I'm not sure it's the whole piece of it.
I think I would add to that if you don't set a goal, you're likely to get sidetracked along the way much more easily and much more frequently. And so you may never achieve the development of those gifts because you're constantly going this way and that way and this way and that way. So if someone's, to use your example from the lacrosse field, if someone's constantly working in high school games, but they want to go to the college level, and they never attend the workshops and they never do the things that get you there. They're doing work, and they may think they're doing work to get to that goal, but it's not the work that's necessary to get to that goal. Right.
Yeah. And I would say it's even if you're doing just summer youth events and not doing high school, everything is different. The timing is different. The process, there's a lot of things that go into a high school game that are different than a summer league tournament game, and so figuring out what those things are. And you might feel like, oh yeah, I'm getting all this experience doing this. Well, you haven't figured out this other piece that's really important as a part of it.
And that's true in every field.
Of course. Yes.
We're using lacrosse, we're using speaking as the example, but it is across the board. So,
yes.
Wow. I'm looking forward to this week, Tom. It looks like it's going to be a fun discussion. I
love the conversation around developing your gifts.
All right.
And all of them, and I think that's one of the things is sometimes it's, as we talked about last week, is we have a lot of gifts, and figuring out like which ones you want to develop and can develop will be a piece of it. You should still share all of them. And yet sometimes it's good to figure out exactly which ones you truly want to develop. If you have a one thing, please feel free to share it. We know it'll add value to our show. If you're listening to the podcast and are unable to do that, we would welcome you to do that within our two groups. If you're a LinkedIn person, go to the Renegade Success Network for Leaders. If you're a Facebook person, you can go to the Ring of Renegades. And in both of those locations, you can share your value, share your one thing if you'd like, or share any thoughts or ideas you have around this topic, because we know it'll add value to those groups. And you may find someone respond to it that might have just the information that you are looking for to help you figure out if you're stuck. So we look forward to seeing you inside those groups. If not, we will see you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern time, for our next episode of Today's Antidote. Have a great day, everyone.
Hey, embrace the renegading you on this Monday. It'll help you develop your gifts. It'll help you set the goal. It will help you across the board. I promise.
And if you're struggling with that, reach out to Bob or I. We can help you figure out what that might look like and help you figure out how to take your next step along your own unique pathway to success. All right, everyone, go out and make it a great day. We'll see you soon. Thanks for listening to Today's Antidote, powered by the Renegade Success Network. The Renegade Success Network helps you confidently create your own unique pathway to success. To learn more about the Renegade Success Network and how you can take your next step, follow us on Twitter Connect on LinkedIn or join the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. For full details on how you can join our community, go to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Embrace the renegade in you.